And we're live. If you were in the military, what would you be?
Dead.
Well, why? Why would you be dead? You be a combat guy?
I don't know. I don't know what I'd be. It's not like you have your druthers right all the time. If you do like if you got to just pick, if it was that, if you got to pick what you did, I don't know. I don't know. The special forces guys seem to do all the cool shit, right? And they get to like wear beards and like dress how they want and like paint their guns green if they want to and just do whatever the fuck they want. Like, and of course, like that seems like the coolest job, but it also seems like the job that only the elite of the elite could even do. And I don't think I'm capable of such a thing.
I used to think I am. I used to think like so I have a damaged hand. It was never in the cards, but I used to be like, if I was in there, I'd be a Navy SEAL. That was my positive impression of myself. And I'd look at what they could do in terms of swimming and be like, I would easily rank amongst them. You know, like, of course, there's some great swimmers in there, but by and large, you know, that shit they do about pulling their mask off and people panicking, it's fucking silly stuff. It's no big deal. But the adult version of me is like, really? Because I'm not sure swimming is even the biggest part of being a Navy SEAL. You know, the water thing is really just an endurance of discomfort.
That's how they root out the pussies, apparently.
That's what. That's
not
what he said.
pussies, because
and I haven't shown any superhuman ability to endure discomfort. You know, like it sleep deprivation and the go sugar cookie yourself and all that fun stuff. There's no evidence that I'd be a Navy SEAL. I don't
know. Yeah. But that does seem like the coolest job. If that were the question, I answer it that way. But like, I don't know.
I can tell just by looking at you, you don't have what it takes to be a Navy SEAL.
To hack it in the SEALs.
I drowned twice, not because I failed the first time, but because I couldn't get enough of it.
What is dead may never die.
After that, Minnesota was a cakewalk. You know? Oh, he's ridiculous.
Yeah. So more realistically, like something that I think I could do is like maybe a helicopter pilot or something like that. That seems like anybody can kind of do that. I don't see those guys
I'd be
as
bad at that.
The smartest people in the world or the most coordinated people in the world. They're good at what they do and everything, but I just don't think it's some unattainable thing. Like trying to become a fighter pilot, I feel like is like trying to be a baseball player. You know, I feel like they rank pretty close to each other. Like everybody wants to. We all saw Top Gun, like, but only a handful of people. Yeah, only the best of the best can do that shit. And there's
my friend is a helicopter pilot, and I've talked to him about it and stuff. And I used to I sometimes insert myself like, how would I do in that position? A military
pilot or
he's in the Army,
regular pilot.
And flying the helicopter, I feel like I could get grips on. You know, it's not the easiest thing, but you know, I think I could learn to fly a helicopter. The challenge is there's other aspects of it that I would suck at. Navigation is a huge part of it. Spotting things on the ground, doing recon is a big part of his job. Directing people. I talk to people around the airport and fucking mix up east and west from time to time. That doesn't fly when you're doing recon in the Army as a helicopter pilot.
6 clicks east. No, west. West. I'm like 80%. Wait, hold on.
I still like Woody. They're all dead. They're all dead, Woody.
Yes.
We just burnt them all alive. That was the city.
I'm not sure if it's east-west. It's definitely down from here.
Well, it's below me. I'll tell you that for damn sure. It's right. It's below me.
So you just
like a 9-iron shot away to the left. Yeah.
So it's occurred to me, at least the kind of helicopter pilot he did. So with recon, not only do you find bad guys and good guys, but you direct good guys. You spend a lot of time telling them like, oh yeah, you know, I recommend you approach from the north and then come into the west and hook around and whatever. Like that kind of is a big part of what the helicopters are doing out there, and I think I'd be bad at it.
Yeah, that sounds really fun. And there's bunches of helicopters, like you just intimated. Like, you know, you could. There's attack helicopters and troop transport helicopters, and I'm sure there's a guy flying a helicopter that just moves around like toilet paper and water and shit.
Chinook pilots, they just move shit all the time.
I hate that. That'd be the worst fucking job.
They like it. It's
No, I want the job where you fucking blow shit up and kill people, right? Like
that.
You want that fucking. You want to be an Apache, like with that fucking. That heads up display where you look and the fucking gun is outside like some RoboCop shit, and you've got that 30mm cannon that you can and you like We're waiting on the bullets to get there. We'll see what happens.
So there's
And then you just see them.
that's
Oh,
all
that's
dream
sick.
shit though. Like that happens once a lifetime. The reality of being an Apache a helicopter pilot, like the only thing they're good for is war, so they don't even fly them most of the time.
You make a terrible army recruiter.
You sit around doing fucking nothing all the time. The Apache helicopter itself flies itself. Like apparently there's less rudder work and it auto stabilizes. You know how hard it is just to hover a helicopter? Apparently we could all hop in Apaches because they auto hover like a fucking drone. If you can fly a Phantom, you know, you can do that. And you leave with very little airtime and less marketable job skills. Like Apache, the people who are at the head of their flight class typically don't choose Apaches, but they do choose things like Chinooks because those guys fly constantly. There's always a mission having to do with moving some Humvee.
I want to shoot shit. I want a gun on mine. If there's not a gun on it, then I don't want to go. That would be my goal. I want to fly something with a gun on it. No, I want big guns. I want a 30 mm cannon and some fucking Hellfire rockets or something outrageous. I want to burn some shit. I want to some shit.
I'd rather be on the ground than in the air. I think I don't want to be up in the air. I'd rather be on the ground. But also thinking of like Band of Brothers.
Up in the air, go home every night.
I'll be fine. Like, maybe it's like I don't have to go. I can talk big right now. It doesn't fucking matter. Yeah, I'd fucking go in there and do wreck shit. I just like watching Band of Brothers. Like in that one scene in the beginning of it where Ross from Friends is like training the troop, and he gets out there and his like sergeants or whatever are like, you know, Lieutenant, we have to go east towards that fence. It's like, no. It's a trap. We go north over there. And they like immediately pop out. And then like all the ghillie-suited training teachers are like just pointing at him. And they're like, oh, well, you failed. You fucking lose. Like I would never want to be the guy in charge of directions because we would be maybe a third of the way through World War II if I was in that room with Churchill giving directions of like, just go east. No, wait, west. You know what? Just spread everybody out just in case. Like, I would not be helpful with any sort of directional thing at all. I'd need something like that. I'm horrible with that. But I don't know, seems like on the ground would be much better. Like you'd have to be in the firefight more in like a World War II scenario. But the thought of being shot down from a plane or like you're in a helicopter and the fucking pilot gets shot or something. Like I don't know. It's freaky. And the tank thing, I've thought about that too. But all I could ever think about if I was in the tank is like, yeah, I'm super protected. And I'm like, oh no, the enemy knows I'm super protected and they're German. Mercedes has a great shell for this. Like, and then you'd be fucked. Like Mercedes, extra penetrable shell. You know, now available.
I don't think I would not want to be the guy on the ground if I could help it. Like the idea with the SEALs and the special forces is that it seems like from what you see on TV and the movies is like they go in and do a thing and then take them back out and then they're done, or maybe they're just doing something for a while, but then they're always getting extracted. I just really don't like the idea of like I can't remember there's been a couple of documentaries where those soldiers are in Afghanistan were just like stuck there, like bunkered down on that hilltop. And it's just like every day we guard this nothingness valley with our lives until they let us go home. Like that seems like the worst. That seems like every day you wake up like, all right, I'm going to risk my life for nothing again today. And this valley worth nothing in Afghanistan. Like that seems like awful job. Whereas I'd much rather be the guy on an aircraft carrier who's like waving those signal things around and like doing a little dance move as I send the planes off, you know? Then he goes down below and like, I don't know, eat some food, and they might even have like a pocket pussy or something. Like that guy's got a good job.
Like, if you're the guy, like you're in the Middle East, in Afghanistan, like it's even worse if you're like one of those guys in like 2004, like the first part of it, you know, in Iraq, I guess it is. And just like in Afghanistan, then I guess that was like 2005 or whatever. Like they'd have to be at a war being like, oh, this isn't at all what I pictured.
Because 9/11 was 2001. We must have been in there within 9 months or so, right?
No.
It took us longer to get into Afghanistan than Iraq. I don't know the exact. I was just kind of picking like an earlier
the other way.
Date of it. Oh, you might be right. But when you first get into Afghanistan, like it'd have to be such a horrible, rude awakening to be like, oh, this is nothing like I thought war was.
We went to Afghanistan like shortly thereafter, but Iraq didn't happen until 2004 or like late 2003, maybe.
Then you're right.
That's when like the shock and awe thing happened, because I remember we watched Shock and Awe in class, like in medals class. The teacher was like, "Fucking watch this shit. Bush is showing them what for, boys.
Dude, we
Like-
did some so September 11th, 2001, obviously, is when 9/11 happened. By October 7th, less than a month later, the war had started in Afghanistan.
Okay, so I got mixed up there. But if
Evil
you were in
doers, beware.
2002 or whatever on the early part of Afghanistan, and you get over there in the Middle East, like guaranteed, you ask those people like 10 months before, like, what's Afghanistan? Like, most of them are going to be like, that's where the Easterlings are from in Lord of the Rings, I believe. And it's like, they would have no idea. Like, I don't know. At least I could definitely see how that would be like totally disenchanting once you got there and you imagined the war to be like all the propaganda stuff they show you about World War II when like true valor and shit like that was still, you know, and who knows how much of that was propaganda. It's been so long, we probably bought a lot of it. Like, who knows?
Dude, I think like original Afghanistan, the first people like Taylor's talking about were probably psyched. They were probably like, fuck yeah. You know, like after 9/11 happened, I have just been clenching my fists, hoping they send me to Afghanistan. I want to be the guy that finds Osama bin Laden, right? Probably everyone there, it's their version of a high school football player making the NFL. You know, they want to be the guy that gets that kill. Fast forward 6 years later, you know, bin Laden's like already dead. We don't even know what we're doing. Now there's a like valley full of nothingness that we're defending for some reason. What? So Afghanis have a better way of life, and those are the demotivated
protecting
guys.
poppy fields and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Where you just have to know, where they're like, protect this field. There's lots of buried intelligence in chests. Don't ask what, just do it. And they're like, oh, so we're protecting heroin. Is that?
Oh, they were very
we're
clear about
protecting
the fact
opium.
that they were protecting the heroin. You know, they were clear about that. And did you watch that Brad Pitt movie on Netflix? There's that scene there where it's called The Sandbox or something like that. I can't remember, but it's about
War,
that.
right?
It's about the general that they put in charge of Afghanistan a couple years ago, and he thought that the reason that Afghanistan had been going poorly for like 8-9 years was that like they just didn't have the right man in there doing the job right, and that he was just going to like willpower and like make this thing work like through will along, and he got there and realized it's just a mess that can't be made right. But there's a part where he's standing there looking at the big heroin / poppy field, and he's like, why don't we have them grow corn? Can't they grow corn or wheat or something like that? And he's like, yes sir, he could, but that would be in direct competition with American farmers, and we can't have that, sir. So we just have them grow the heroin. All right then.
Yeah. They laid that out
And
real
it's like,
quick.
yeah, that makes sense.
It does, right? Because you're like, well, I don't want U.S. tax dollars pouring into some Afghani crop, which is going to hurt some U.S. farmer in Ohio. So have them grow heroin, which will hurt their kids, I guess. I don't know.
The farms in Ohio.
Yeah. Maybe I didn't think that through.
No, yeah. Now that now
Now
it's
we've
going
got
full
big
circle.
opioid problems. Yeah, you know, like all
If
over
we
Kentucky.
really wanted to beat them, then you need to have those farmers in Ohio grow enough heroin that you put the Afghanis out of business, right? Like I
That's
bet
thinking.
those motherfuckers are in a desert with you always see them and they look dry, like the sand people from fucking Star Wars, and just like chapped lips and stuff. They don't have enough water to grow a fine crop of opium like we could here in the breadbasket of.
Can you imagine what the average person's piss smells like in areas in the Middle East where they just don't have enough water? It's just like if they have
it just comes
like
out
imagine
a long tube.
Asparagus day every day.
Like imagine if you gave them like a you gave them just like a 1.5 liter bottle of fucking Fiji or something, and they guzzle that down, and like half an hour later they'll be like, "There is a great problem. There is clear pee coming out of me. Muhammad spoke against this," you know, or like whatever it would be, like that. Just imagine how much that would suck. Like, obviously, I'm talking about rural areas since they have fucking water in cities and shit they can drink.
Not
but
big city
man,
Afghanistan. That's not what we're talking about.
well, no,
here.
we're not talking about the hustle and bustle. What's the name of that city?
known as Kabul.
Mashmeshi.
Meshmeshi, you totally made that up. Meshmeshi is in unspecified not Afghanistan.
But the first time someone brought up like Uzbekistan to me, I'm like, I gotta check on that. You know, like I'm not 100% sold on this Uzbekistan of sorts.
You were young during 9/11, but I had all these coworkers who claimed to have like knowledge of the Afghanistan situation before 9/11.
Really?
Like, oh yeah, no, I've been following these guys. Listen, I'm an expert on the Taliban. Bullshit. You have never once mentioned the Taliban until 9/11. I will grab a map and I will test your ass.
You know what did happen? I promise this happened because I always say we were in driver's ed, like when it happened. We were listening to the radio. We were in the car, like pulling back into the school, and it was going down on the radio. And I remember my driver's ed teacher going, "But it was that Osama bin Laden fella."
Really?
But it was him. Yeah, I swear to God, he did.
I had never heard of Osama bin Laden until now. I know that Clinton tried to take out the Taliban, and he got. It was
when
like
did Bin Laden get CIA training from us?
Yeah.
Like when?
Yeah. So he
when
was part of the
that?
Mujahideen
So
back
he
with
was
the
fighting
resistance against
Russia.
the Soviets. Yeah, and we were pumping in resources, if you will. In other words, Stinger missiles and weapons platforms,
I mean,
and a
like
lot
what
of
time period was that?
the 80s.
80s.
And then when did it end? Like
The
90s.
Russians. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when did the Berlin Wall fall? Like 89, probably coincided right in there with the fall of the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
It
And then
definitely helped.
sometime during Clinton's term, they attacked the USS Cole. I think it was towards the very end of it. And then it became very obvious they are now our enemy too.
Yeah,
they
they
had
had
better
bombed some
weapons,
embassies
which
and
is
stuff. Yeah, they had.
Right.
Yeah, they were dicks. But yeah, it's interesting to see how that all changed, because in the Cold War we had found an ally in these people who would fight against the Soviets for us. And I always talk about how at the end of Rambo 3, the credits in Rambo 3, Rambo goes to Afghanistan and rescues his old commander and fights the Soviets. And it used
Never
to
seen
say.
Rambo.
And it used to say in the credits, this film is dedicated to the brave fighters of the Mujahideen, which is fucking Osama bin Laden, his crew, right?
Really?
And yeah. But so
Rambo.
now,
that didn't. Somebody regrets that now.
then now you go back and watch. You rent Rambo 3, and it'll say this film is dedicated to the gallant people of Afghanistan.
The gallant people. So they stepped it back a bit.
Yeah, but
Stepped
it's
it
still
back
there
a
a
bit.
little bit. Still
Yeah,
there a
yeah,
little
It's
bit.
definitely
Because
still there.
A big part of the movie is that some Afghan fighters join with Rambo and guide him and get him there, and then there's a big resistance. They help him a bit. It's-
Horses against tanks. Horses win for some reason.